Hey everybody, Mike Pfeiffer with Pfeiffer Hobby Supply again. We're going to do update 74, which is not much of an update because I have spent a lot of time doing something out here that I absolutely hate doing. And it's going to be a compilation of a couple other little things that I want to show you real quick. So it's kind of an all-in-one video simply because I haven't done one. And I'm going to do another one today, and I would like you guys to check that out when I get that far. So let's get on with 74 here, and I'm going to show you what I got going on in here and what I've been working on so diligently that's just eaten up tons of time, and a couple other projects that have taken tons of time. So let's take a look. Okay, real quickly, I just wanted to show you that Robin has been working on her sewing box here. I made some of the time I've spent recently has been re-gluing some of the pieces on this. It was kind of getting rickety, and so it had to be glued up. She has also painted the interior of it with the white. Then it'll have a floor. And because I am so handy, a friend of hers brought this other sewing cabinet down here that's in about 200,000 pieces and wants me to glue it back together. So I will attempt to do that this weekend, but as you can see, I get sidetracked with a lot of other chores to do. I also, up over here, that plastic that's sitting on the top of my workbench, or my toolbox there, those are the cover lay panels that go on the interiors of the doors on the Mustang. And speaking of the Mustang, let me take you out here and let me show you what I've been doing the last couple of days. Okay, looking at the Mustang, probably don't see anything different. But what I did do yesterday was put the new brakes on. You can see that there's drilled and slotted brake rotors on there now. New pads, new everything. The front wasn't too bad. The back was absolute bare. The way you have to push the piston back in when you put thicker pads on there, it was just a bear. But I won't bore you with that. We're just taking a quick look at what's been occupying some of my time. Let's get back in the train room and see what's happening. It's hot out here, and we've got hawks flying around. They're probably starving to death in this hot weather. Okay, now that we're back inside, I'd like to take just a moment. You guys have already seen this. This is from Jeremiah, who thanked me for the Hershey bar. I think I shouted out to him. His name is Jeremiah Crow. Young man is building a layout. His dad's helping him. I really appreciate this once again, Jeremiah. But I wanted to go through some things that I've received lately. In the mail, I got this really nice card, and it's handmade. This is all cut out on a machine, and David obviously made this card himself. Inside of it, it says, "Mike, thank you for all you do for our hobby," and his thank you down there. Love the videos and the website. David Cobb, and I really appreciate the cards. I get them once in a while, not very often, but I seem to have gotten a rash of them lately, and I certainly do appreciate them, and I just want to acknowledge them on here. Let's see here. I also received this card here. "You're so thoughtful. I'm so grateful, and thank you, Mike and Robin. A token of my appreciation for the help and support." This is from Manny, a gentleman by the name of Manny Fernandez. I hope he doesn't mind me mentioning. But Manny sent us a gift card to go out and get dinner, if we can get out and get dinner or whatever. Anyway, it's not required, but Manny, I certainly thank you. Robin and I both certainly thank you for the great card. The gifts for Gavin. He sent a card for Gavin. He sent us several things, and while it's not necessary, I just wanted to point out that we do appreciate this, and thank you, Manny, for what you do, and you being involved in the hobby. I know that you struggle a little bit with it. Manny is partially disabled, but that's beside the point. He loves the hobby. He loves the help he gets from us, and I appreciate everything you do for us, Manny. And he donated to here's the letter that was in there, and he also donated to the club at the fairgrounds, and the club thanks you as well. And really, all I wanted to do is just thank the people who have sent me something recently, and we appreciate you guys as much as you seem to appreciate us. And let's just move on to get into the video. Okay, everybody, here is the loops, basically a siding and a loop. I've had a hell of a time with the electronics on this, and I will explain that in a minute, but first let's try running a train through there. I've got one that's kind of herky-jerky because it's been running. None of the track in here has been cleaned for about 2 months, and I have the window off over there, and so all the dirt and dust from outside in the garage has been coming in here, and the track is just a mess. But let's see what we can do about getting a train through here, if I can get it to go. So you do see that the auto reversing and the auto switch work, and you do see that the train comes back out over here. So we have that going, and now let me talk about the electrical. Okay, so basically I have a isolated section right here. For when the train gets in there, it throws the switch to the appropriate direction, and then one right between here and here, which throws it, the appropriate direction for that way. And then I have a reversing module in this loop, obviously. I couldn't get it to work. I could get it to work one way, then it would throw the opposite switch the wrong way, and I could not remember how I had this hooked up on the previous layout, and why this was not working, and I'm still not real positive as to what all the things that I might have been doing wrong. But here's the jumble of junk that I have down here. I have the AR1, and it goes up here, and it's tied to the track power here, and the track power is temporarily routed here back over to the bus line up there, which is unimportant. But that operates the reversing function to, let me see if I can find you here, to the 2 tracks in the reverse loop. Okay, then I've got a switch cat here that switches the turnout, the one turnout that's at the top, for whichever way the train is coming in and going out. And let me see if I can get down on the floor here. And I have 2 BD20s that sense in either one of those 2 detection tracks sections that I just showed you. Basically what happens, if it enters one of those, it'll trip whichever one of these 2 BDs is connected to that track. That in turn goes up to the switch cat, which is connected to track power, and goes to the turnout. Let me get you up here. Is connected to the switch cat and connected to track power here, and goes to the turnout here. You can see here, maybe, if I get it in focus, you have a violet and a white, and then a white to the same ground, and then a violet on the other side. And that's pin 1, ground, and pin 2, which determines the direction the turnout will be thrown by whichever block it enters here, okay, in which direction that throws the turnout. That's the way I had it hooked up, and that's the way everything worked. But what I realized is, after fighting and fighting and fighting, I know this looks like a jumbled bunch of poop, but I'm going to fix it later. But what I realized was that the power going to the detection tracks had to also be included in the reverse loop. No, aside from the reverse loop. So anyway, it still doesn't make any sense to me. It's still just a cluster of wires, but as you can see by running the locomotive through, it does work. And what this allows me to do, and I'm not going to go into this, and please don't ask me a bunch of questions because I don't have the answers. I am an electronic moron. So this is, you're taking advice from me on this would be, I don't know, taking advice from somebody who doesn't know. But what it does allow me to do is it allows me to run down this loop, park a train on the inner loop, or vice versa, run around the outside loop, come back, loop a train back into the yard that has come down the branch line here. Okay, so it comes off the main line, comes through the branch line, does all the switching operations. Then if I want to turn that train around without shifting ends on the train, or take it to the off layout portion, all I got to do is bring it on down here underneath that tunnel, and I think we've discussed this before, around the loop, change its direction, back out, and back over to the yard. The train can be disassembled and reassembled. I have these two tracks here would be going to the outside world. I think we've talked about that. I'm going to extend this track. Still haven't decided what to do over here. Haven't even messed with it. I've been so busy reading all this stupid literature that I hate doing to even figure out how to get this loop to work once again. You can see that I don't have these two turnouts hooked up. They will be hooked up to a DS64. They will be assigned a number, and that will allow you to go in and out of the siding, either one of the two sidings, or the loops, whichever the case may be. I also have one hanging down here. This one will also be assigned to a DS64, and it is, once again, the one up there inside the tunnel. Okay? Hopefully we never have trouble with that one. But that's where it'll be, you know. But anyway, and another thing I think I'll tell you guys, too, while I got you on here, captive audience, more or less, I think I'm going to put a little bit of a backdrop, not too high, just enough to get around over here. I may move that horny toad in one of those plaques and bring it around just to the opposite side of the window there. And it'll probably be about maybe 8 to 12 inches shorter than that backdrop over there. And I think I'm going to fill this in, and I said I wasn't going to do any scenery in there, but I thought I'm going to level that up, and I'm going to put not all, I'm going to put some of my buildings that I had left from the previous layout over there kind of in a town configuration. Don't know what that'll be yet, but like I said, these holes have to stay, so it'll just be some buildings in there and something to probably hide the back side of the window like I had there before, be it a structure, something. And then the scenery will likely stop right over here, just on the other side of this little Y. And then there will not be any scenery all the way down to here. So, at current, that is the game plan. I was trying to, another thing I'll tell you is I was trying to run this steam locomotive through that loop with my passenger train on it. And it got stuck in the tunnel, and I pulled on a little bit, and of course the traction tire tore, and I thought it was my fault. Then I looked at the other traction tire, and the other traction tire was basically just flopping around on the wheel. So I'm not real impressed with the traction tires on the Broadway Limited locomotives at the moment. Kind of don't make me too happy. but I wouldn't discount the locomotive because of that. But that happens every time I try and run something steam. Other than that, nothing been going on out here. Still the same trains parked in the same spots. Nothing done on the entire layout, but I am not showing you the floor because the floor is entirely covered with junk from inside the garage because I've been having to do other things in the garage, and I've had every wiring diagram and everything I've ever done on wiring out to try and figure out this dumb loop. But anyway, that's it for today, gang. Hope you enjoyed the video. Okay, everybody, glad to have you today, and hope you enjoyed just this compilation of stuff. It's been things that have kept me busy, really busy, and it's just been extremely hot here. It was 112 on our porch yesterday, which is not accurate to the city, but the city claimed that the official temperature was 105. But our porch showed 112. It's supposed to be 107 officially here today, which means my porch will probably be 115. We'll see what happens. They're supposed to break some records here and in El Paso today, but it's just been extremely hot. Although with my air conditioner on in here, it's nice. Maybe I should be out here working instead of these other things that I showed you. But aside from that, I'm glad to have you guys here. Glad you watched the video. And as usual, thanks for watching.